welcome to Unstitched Identity. I don't know why I've chosen a channel name with that's so difficult to say. Anyway, I'm Jacie, and this is Unstitched Identity, and it's a place where we look at why creativity is protest, how sewing can save your sanity, like it did mine, I think, and how to get more out of your wardrobe by absolutely avoiding the high street like the plague. So I'm going to show you some charity shop buys that I've made recently, and then a bit later on I'll show you some pictures. We could call it styling, you could loosely term it styling. I might call it putting them on, but I've done a bit of adjustments, a bit of sewing with them, some amends and stuff, so it's something to be shown. We'll see. You can be the judge of that. I'll start with what I'm wearing, which is a me made outfit. So the shirt is a hack of this one, which is the Maker's Atelier shirt. I made this view when it first came out. For some reason, so I made it out of a white cotton, but for some reason I had some fat quarters. I don't know where they came from. I must have bought them in my sleep again. Anyway, so I sewed those together, so the back's completely different. So for all this pleating at the back. And by the way, if you've made this shirt and you're not wearing it because of those pleats, because ironing them is a nightmare, my hack for them is before I wash it, which this does sound a bit mad, but it doesn't take a minute. I just set the sewing machine to the longest stitch length and just run a few stitches over so that it just holds it in place long enough to wash and iron it, and then pull the threads out, and it's just so much easier than trying to set those pleats back in again. Anyway, so this is a hack of that. As you can see, the collar's quite small, so I drafted a bit more of a funky collar. I didn't want to bother, so I made it as is the first time, but then I couldn't be bothered to put the sleeve placket etc in, so I just drafted another cuff that just turns back and is kind of dramatic. And also at the back I did a bit of slash and spread, which is always fun. So I cut it out on the bias. You can't really tell, but I'll show you a bit more when I put some photos up, but just to play with the shape of the back, because it seems to be that you could do quite a lot with the back of this. And then the trousers, I've got indigo denim trousers. They've got some stretch in them. They're so comfortable, and they are made from, unusually for me, a big 4 pattern. Don't do many big 4 patterns, but this one seemed to be what I was looking for. So it's Simplicity 1069, and presumably because my motto is go big or go home, I have probably made this view, which is view D, which is the biggest one. But obviously they look, in the picture they look quite floaty, they look like they're in some kind of drapey fabric, but mine are denim. So anyway, that's what I'm wearing there. So charity shop haul. Starting off with these trousers, which are 100% wool, a beautiful, beautiful cloth. I have a feel of that. Lovely. So they're by Vogue, which you may or may not know. Vogue, showing here. It's an Irish brand, if you don't know. They weave their own cloth. Now, a few years ago, they were doing a lot more clothes. They don't seem to do a lot now. I had a look on their website, and they do throws and things and coats. The coats are about 300, 400, 500 pounds. So it shows you what kind of quality we're getting. And it's a lovely herringbone wool. And they're beautifully made. They've got these welt pockets at the front. Nothing at the back. They're a bit old lady, and I am a bit old lady, but anyway, well, they were when I first bought them. So they've got this elastic on here, which quite frankly is quite useful. However, you know, I wouldn't be going around tucking my crimpling shirt into that so that everybody could see. They've got fly front. Anyway, so they fitted me absolutely perfectly right down to my ankle, which is exactly what made me look like my Auntie Vera, who She had her moments, but she definitely wasn't a style icon. So what I've done, and I'll show you in the photos where I've got them on, is I've shortened them a bit, cropped them, so I can wear my funky boots with them. I have kept this little, what my friends, I am going to have to call a slit. I know people don't like the word slit. I have a couple of friends who will be really, you know, cross with me and will probably be switched off. I'll probably lose any viewers that I might have ever had, but you know, that's what we're calling it. A vent? Is that better? A vent? Anyway, they're really nice. I had a pair of toast trousers that I got from a charity shop, and I had to sell them because they made me look like a kind of tweed version of SpongeBob SquarePants. I was as wide as I was tall, which, you know, I have got quite short legs. I'm not quite 5'4", but let's pretend I am. So I had to get rid of those. So these will do a bit for filling in that gap in the wardrobe. And it's worth noting that a lot of people don't seem to have heard of a Vogue. It doesn't seem to be very searched for on Vinted and stuff. And whereas brands like Toast, thankfully for me, hold their value, so I was able to sell them for quite a few quid. These Avoca doesn't seem to be so well known, so if you really like quality cloth, it might be worth having a look at that. These were £9. They are 3/4 lined as well. They're absolutely lovely. You know, they're that wool that just isn't itchy. Really, really good quality. Next thing, I nearly didn't buy this because it was really expensive for a charity shop. Well, really expensive anyway. But prepare your eyeballs for this colour. In silk. Mark you. How lovely. Isn't that lovely? So it's a kind of kimono style jacket. You'll see it better in the pictures where I've got it on rather than when I'm, you know, kind of drowning in it here. It's got this kind of camphor style stitching that holds the silk onto this cotton background. The brand is Neeru Kumar, which is a brand I've come across before. And so I had this 30 quid on it, and I was like, I've got to try it on. I've got to try it on because, you know, it's a good colour. And so I was hiding in the changing rooms, Googling how much their new stuff are, to kind of justify why I wanted it so much. And they are pretty expensive. So I think they're £200, £300 or something. I think they're very ethically produced, I believe. Anyway, I bought it from the hospice shop, the St Leonard's Hospice shop, one of the ones in York, my favourite one. And also, I love that charity, and who doesn't? So I was like, all right, talk myself into it. And yeah, it's just an absolute joy. It was 30 quid, which is quite a lot, isn't it, for a charity shop? But, you know, why not? They, you know, they're there to make money for the charity. So, you know, selflessly, I just bought this. Nothing to do with the fact that it's the most beautiful silk and the most wonderful colour in the world, and you can just chuck it on and it will never go out of style. But, you know, nothing to do with that. It's just me being altruistic. And if you believe that, my nose will get even bigger. Next up, this, turn you around a little bit. This, it's a Paul Costello 100% linen shirt dress, and I think it's been around a while. It's not brand new looking at the label, but it was beautifully made. I say was because it was too big and I needed to make it a bit smaller. And so I always forget that, you know, I'm really short from shoulder to waist. So if I wear things, I end up like, you know, I could fit another big bulky load of shoulders in the top there. But when I thought, oh yes, of course, I'm great at sewing, I can alter that, I completely forgot that there's a waistband. It was French seamed on the inside. I didn't forget that. I didn't know it was French seamed on the inside. There's pleats at the shoulder, so it wasn't going to be taking it up from the shoulder. It's going to be taking it the waistband and moving it up a bit. There's a button placket down the middle. Brilliant. There were belt loops. There's two on the back. and then I could only find another one. I must have chucked it away somewhere. So anyway, it's managing without. And how clever, let me show you. There are pockets in the side things. Well, there were pockets. So in order to take it in at the hips, take it in, and I couldn't move the pockets. It all just got too complicated. So basically, don't ask me to carry anything in my pocket for you because I can't get it in. I can just about slide 2 fingers in there. So if you want me to carry you a pencil or you know, Pepperami or something like that, you know, I'm your woman. Anything more bulky or looking casual, by putting your hands in your pockets, no, forget it, can't do that. So I'm just going to hope that other people don't recognise that. Oh, inspo. The reason I bought this was because I found this every Christmas in with the drill who does the work round here, or the other work sometimes in the afternoon for an hour or two when he's not in the pub. He buys me a Vogue at Christmas, and I saw this. You know, it's a bit faded now in the sun because I've had it stuck on the wall. I really liked this. I just love the colours. I just thought they really sung out. As you can see, this is this kind of tealy turquoise colour coming out again. And so I thought I'm gonna recreate this outfit in some way. And when I saw that, I thought, well, it's doing the kind of, it's giving that vibe. Obviously, it looks a bit different on the mannequin. So so that's what I was thinking. Now, my friend Jen said, I sent her the picture and said, look at the colours on there. Don't they make your heart glad? To which she said, yes, if you want to look like a minion. In with the drill. Suggested that I might get a job in IKEA and I could get a uniform, and then we'd all be saving ourselves a lot of time and money, and I might earn a few extra quid as well. But anyway, we move because we don't need that kind of negativity. So what I did was I bought this from a charity shop. Oh, I've messed up the pocket now and I'm making it look all bulky, but it looks better on me because I am more bulky. And I bought these shoes. Now, not shoes, boots. So this is to recreate the teal boot situation that's going on in that picture. And could I find flat teal boots? Now, the reason I need to have flat teal boots was because about a year ago, I broke my foot. Yes, outside the pub. Yes, but crucially, I hadn't gone in the pub yet. I hadn't had a drink, I hadn't gone in the pub. I'd been on a team building day, started a new job, been there 2 weeks, went on my first team building day. Oh, they said, let's go for a drink. It's a lovely day. We're going to sit by the river in York. Lovely. And I said, I just need to nip up to the loo. And of course, all the wibbly wobbly streets in York. And I just went over like, you know, like your grandma. Well, not your grandma. I hope your grandma hasn't gone over. But I was like, a grandma. Some random Canadians picked me up, and I knew it was broken. Anyway, still giving me jip. All this time on, it's still giving me jip. So I didn't really want to do heels. So I was looking for some flat boots. Could not find them in the teal colour. So I bought those, which were cream. They're Betty Barclay. They're quite like that's a bit of an old lady brand as well, isn't it? But they're good quality, and they do the job. I have had such a faff dyeing them. It would have been quicker, easier and cheaper to have bought a small calf and fed it only turquoise food until it was old enough to go and become a pair of boots. And that takes a lot for me to say that because I haven't eaten meat since 1984. Let's not get this impression that I'm some kind of animal killer. But it's just absolutely soaked up the dye. So it needs a bit more on it actually, but I can't quite justify myself at the moment in getting another couple of those little bottles, and everywhere that I was getting them have gone out of stock now because I bought them all. So just a lesson to learn. If you think you're going to dye something a completely different colour, you might want to think again because, you know, quite honestly, I probably could have got a cobbler to make the boots for me, custom made, for less expense than I've spent on shoe dye. However, it's going to be a lovely look, isn't it? And I will minion my way down the road, feeling very happy with myself and sunshiny. So yeah, so that's that outfit. And then I bought a lovely navy cashmere jumper for £12. It's an autograph one, which I can't show you because it's in the wash, because I've worn it a lot. But it's a joy. It's an absolute joy. It's really soft. And the other thing that I bought was this little kind of messenger bag thing. And it's really interesting. And this is the joy of going to charity shops, I think, because you find out about weird brands and stuff that you had never heard of before. And this is made by a brand. I'm not sure if they're in existence anymore in any form. They're called Green the Gap. I don't know if you can see that. Green the Gap. And it's they were called that. And then, of course, big American company, The Gap, got wind of it. And despite the fact that they are a not-for-profit organisation in India, set up by the people that work on those massive rubbish tips in India, trying to recycle some of the stuff into gear, garments, accessories that they can sell. The Gap slapped some kind of cease and desist on them, so that was that. So they had to change the name, and I couldn't quite tell whether they're still in existence. So this, I think, is made out of inner tube, which is funky. There's the back. It's got a bit of denim to tie it all together. The strap, I think, is a seatbelt. It's seen a bit of wear as this little number. It's not in its first flush of youth. However, I do like it, and it's just the right size for my laptop. So I've been using it to take my laptop to and from work, and, you know, enjoying it. Look at this collar. It's annoying me, isn't it? That's because I'm looking at myself, which is always a mistake. So yeah, that's where I am. That's my latest buys and alterations. And as I say, I'll put some pictures in at the end, maybe some video or something where I'm style them, at least wear them so you can see them on. And be great to know about in the comments about any brilliant charity shop bargains you have found recently. If you know of fantastic towns for charity shops where I can just, in the interest of research, pack up and just come to your town or a town for the weekend, that would be great. I'm a big fan of Weatherby charity shops. Don't tell anyone. Luckily, I've got no subscribers, so no one will know. Anyway, and if you would tell me your best ever charity shop buy, will be fantastic. And that's all from now, for now. And hopefully I'll see you soon. And I think I'm supposed to say things like and subscribe. Very new to all this, so you just do you, babes. Bye.